Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and welcome to Pro Junkertown. What we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you the pro players, and you can see there's a ton of names here. Logix, Tavik, Midnight, Vane, there's loads of guys, Jake, blah blah blah. All of these guys are pros. What they were doing is they were getting together and they were testing out the new content on the PTR. They were testing out the new balance changes. You guys have seen some of the videos I've put on the channel already with the Mercy changes and all of that good stuff. However, what we're going to do here is take a look at how they are playing the new Junkertown map, because this map should be released onto live servers very soon. So any information we can get on this from the highest level of play is obviously going to help us as well, simple players of the game. So what we're looking at here is like what I expect to be the defensive setup on this map. Now, when we look at the red team, it's a little bit of a trolley team comp. There's no tank. I guess they're having a little bit of fun, but it kind of doesn't really matter because you can still kind of see the way that the teams are setting up. Using this high ground right outside of the first attacker's spawn, which is very, very powerful. You can see Jake trying to run away there and he gets absolutely killed. I don't know where he was going there, but whatever. Watch Tavik though. I think we spend a lot of time on Tavik, maybe some time on Logix as well. But the positions that he's holding seem very powerful. Like, I worry about this map a little bit because I think this first point is going to be very difficult to actually attack out of, because you are just literally walking into a massive kill zone. It's a massive field of death. There's loads of high ground. The defenders can be pretty much anywhere. They've got a load of cover, and they can really just start spamming through you and just like causing massive damage to you. I think there's going to have to be some interesting strategies used on attack on this map. Like, I don't think you can just rush out to the payload, or, you know, maybe you can, but you might need to use a Reinhardt and an Orisa, or a Reinhardt and a Winston or something, just to give yourself that kind of protection. But I feel like teams are probably going to attack around the side, like almost ignore the payload to begin with, just attack the defenders and then get the payload, because it's a very long distance for the defenders to actually get back to the first point here. So that works in your advantage if you're an attacker. If you get a pick, generally you're probably going to be able to push quite hard. So this next phase of the first point is really interesting to me. We go from a map, or the point of the map, where there's a lot of verticality, a lot of places where you can hide as defenders, to just going straight to, well, a massive open space where suddenly hit scan is the king. So Widowmakers, soldiers, McCrees are just going to do loads and loads and loads and loads of work. And of course, this has the Mercy changes and the Diva changes, although it doesn't have the most recent Diva changes, which is the increased regeneration on Diva's defense matrix. It's actually gone up by 25%, so it only takes 8 seconds to fully recharge now, instead of the, well, the old 10, which is what you're seeing in this video. But it does seem really different, doesn't it, Overwatch? Like, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch Season 6 competitive, and to see this new Diva and to see the new Mercy, it kind of feels refreshing, especially the Mercy, because I've been in a lot of games where there's been a lot of defeats, or, well, not defeats, draws actually on 2CP, where Mercy comes out of hiding, reses the whole team. That will not be happening as soon as these changes go live. So it's going to be a much more, I think, refreshing game to play in that respect. Anyway, as you can see here, the defenders have actually pushed back the attackers here and pushed them back towards the first area of this map. Now, granted, the red team doesn't have a tank, which I think is about to change. I think Clone Man is going to start playing a tank like he should be, possibly, or he's just going to carry on with McCree. Memory, but memory seems a little bit dodgy. Oh, actually, he got res, so we'll let him off there. But yeah, this is just a very, very interesting map. All of the map is very interesting. The first point is so funky because of all of this verticality, then suddenly just opens into this massive area of, like, a lot of strategies are going to be able to be used here. I just worry a little bit that this might be a little bit defender bias. Okay, I know there's a long distance from the defender spawn to get back to actually defend the first point, but yeah, I don't know. So what we can see here, there's been 4 picks here by the red team. Basically, they've pushed through here. This should be them being able to cap this point, or at least you would think that, because it's going to be very difficult for the blue team to actually get back and contest this. Because if you look at the way you can actually get onto the point, there's the high ground there where Winston is, there's the low ground, and then there's the low ground to the left. And if they want to come through there, they're going to have to push really, really hard. And they almost pulled a bit of a C9 there. So here we go. The red team are trying their best to push this away. We've got a bit of a McCree high noon there, which does manage to get the mech, which is beautiful. And then Clone Man finishes off. Look at that. It's such a beautiful sight seeing that Mercy fly around. Right, so I think we're going to get a bit of a lesson off Logix now on how to snipe. At least I hope we are. This Mercy's so difficult to hit. So we didn't really get a lesson. Maybe we do now. I don't know. Come on, Logix, don't let me down. Just let me down. There we go. Killed the Mercy. Hit body shot the McCree. That's cool. It's absolutely crazy watching pros like aim, especially with Widowmaker and stuff like that. 'Cause it's like, holy god. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. So they've managed to. Well, I say they've managed to take the first point. They haven't, and that is the end of the first round. Now, what we're going to do now, because this is a scrim, basically, we reset the game. We don't actually just play the whole thing through because we want to play the whole map, right? So what will happen is the map will get reset and we'll just go straight in to the other team defending and attacking, like, so they can swap places. But yeah, this map, the first point, is the only point I've kind of got a little bit of an issue with, because I think it might be a little bit easy to defend. But then again, I think it just comes down to adapting how to play this map. Like, I'm honestly starting to think you come straight out with a Reinhardt on this map. Probably mandatory just to be able to soak all that damage. I mean, you can see there, look where the payload is. All of that high ground there, the defenders will be there. The defenders will pile damage into you if you go for the payload. So you're going to have to be very cute and very clever. And I think Reinhardt probably will see quite a bit of use at the start of this map. Also as well, Winston can work equally as well, because if you look at the flanks around the left and around the right-hand side, if you go for a dive comp here and you rush straight out, like maybe to the left or to the right, and just dive onto defenders and almost ignore the payload to begin with, I think that might be a pretty good strategy, because moving this payload while you're just getting drilled by Soldier and everybody else is going to be a bit of a problem. So what we're going to see now is a couple of changes to the teams. So both teams have got tanks. Both teams, well, the blue team, sorry, has Roadhog, which is going to be interesting because this is the defensive team using the new Roadhog, and this Roadhog is quite good. It's not the old Roadhog, but it's a very powerful character. It can take a massive amount of damage. It's probably the most tankiest character there is, if you don't include people like Reinhardt with shields, or Arista, I suppose. He can take so much damage. It's kind of like he can bait you into taking fights that you really don't want to take. So let's have a look at where these guys are setting up the defense. So they're kind of I don't know what they're doing. There's 15 seconds to go. Hopefully they're going to move into a defensive position. Here we go. So they're kind of standing quite far forward here. This is not something I would, I don't know, recommend, but these guys are just testing this out. They just want to see what's what and, you know, if they can pull something funky up. Because you have to test these things. You can't just go in and be like, oh, yeah, we're not going to try that. You've got to give it a go. You never know what might happen, ladies and gentlemen. So straight away, we've got Roadhog doing a bit of work, and Roadhog manages to get away with a cheeky swig on the old take a breather, which is beautiful. And by the way, that building they spawn in is Roadhog's house, I believe, or at least his garage or something. He's got his bed in there, and he's got his take a breather production facility. Yeah, so we're on board here with the Roadhog player, and you can see, like, Roadhog is, yeah, he's not putting out massive amounts of damage, but he's always there, and he's actually helping secure a ton of kills. And that was a nice hook. I don't know what happened there, what the hell, yeah, he's just like, he's hard to remove from a point, Roadhog is now, which gives him a lot of power installing payloads. And what are these hooks? These hooks are crazy. What the hell? Yeah, you can see him, he's like, really? Yeah, those hooks were slightly ridiculous. Anyway, the red team are managing to push forward now. So they managed to get a pretty strong engagement there. I mean, I think there was a lot of hooks there by Roadhog, which might have actually probably should have secured kills, but funky stuff happened, and who knows what the hell is going on with the hook. I don't even think the devs know what's going on with the hook. Anyway, we move forward into this open sort of space now. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because there isn't much cover here. For the attackers, I mean, they are managing to get picks. Logic takes out the turret. Tavik manages to wipe out Mercy. So they are actually getting the picks that they probably need to make this happen. We've got the Roadhog on the payload, and he pops his ultimate kind of like a last-ditch thing. And you can see the chat like, what are you doing? Crazy. Total waste of the ultimate. But there you go. They're just having fun, guys. This isn't a totally serious map, but like totally serious game. It is a serious map. That was kind of a weird thing to say. But you've got to remember, like, these guys are literally at the highest level of the game. So even watching them messing around having fun, it shows us how these things will work, and it's much better than me just playing on the PTR going, oh guys, this is what I think is going to happen with Junkertown, when actually we can see much better, well, the best players playing this game and going, hey, this is probably how this map is going to play out. And I think it's invaluable. Like, I really like doing these kind of videos. I know I always ask when I make anything with the pro gamers, like, I don't want to be making stuff which alienates us, because, yeah, I know these pro gamers live in their own kind of little bubble. Yeah, I know that their meta and all of that stuff is like its own little bubble, and it doesn't really apply to us. But if we can watch them and maybe learn off them, I think that's a great way of sort of using pro level content, especially on my channel. Like, if you guys agree with that, then let me know, because it's always like, it's been something I've always wanted to do more of, but I don't want to straight up make videos of like, you know, oh look, this is a you know, some sort. I don't know. I don't know. I just think these are probably the best kind of videos I can make in terms of pros, and maybe you can do some sort of like pro guides and stuff like that with actual pro players, because you know these guys, they know the game like the back of their hand, and there you go, Roadhog. Anyway, let's get back into the game. Enough of me talking about what the hell's going on. So the first point has been capped, and we're actually moving through into, I guess, the, I don't know what phase we can call this, like the town phase, the shopping centre phase, I don't know. This is actually a really nice bit of map, this is. There are a lot of different ways you can attack and defend here. There's a lot of verticality, which means there's a lot of high ground. There's a lot of flanking routes. There's a lot of ways heroes like Farah, like Tracer, can actually get around this map really, really quick. It's or this area of the map really quick. It's so refreshing to see this map, because it very much is a modern map design. Like, there are so many different elements to this map. Every single point has got something different on it, and every single point within a point has got a different way you can play it. Like, if you look at the first point, obviously you've got a lot of high ground to begin with, but then it opens up into a big open space. That's pretty nice. I think Midnight, I don't know what Midnight's doing, probably just checking into the spawn like, hey, what's going on down there? Or rather, one of the old spawn rooms. Maybe he was just sightseeing. It's like, hey, what's going on? Who knows, man? McCree's out of position, so now he's going to die. Silly McCree actually manages to take out Midnight's mech, which is pretty funky. But as you can see, red team are pretty much just steamrolling through here, and blue team don't really have any way to stop this, which is a bit of a shame. But this means we're going to get to see the final area, the actual scrapyard, the junkyard, the arena. This is where the bots kill each other for the queen's amusement, and also you can bet on killing the bots and all kinds of stuff, which is, I believe, how the queen makes most of her money. I don't know. Anyway, this final area of the map, again, is very interesting, because there are different ways you can attack this. You can attack on the low ground here, which is sort of like a low ground flank. You can obviously flank over the top if you want to, and there's the rotating platform. In terms of how useful I think the rotating platform is, I don't think it's that useful. It's nice that it's there, and it adds a little bit of spice, I suppose, to the map, but it's not something you're probably going to use for mad strategies or whatever. I mean, I remember at Gamescom, when I had one of the devs with me, I actually grabbed the underside of the platform, and it pulled everybody up to the platform. But then the platform kept moving, and the grav was just in space, which was pretty funny. Especially because the dev was like, hey, why don't we try that? And it did. And they're like, oh, yeah, that probably shouldn't happen. So, yeah, we're probably going to have to fix that. So that was funky. But, yeah, you can see how this is playing out. There's only one little kind of issue I've got with this area of the map is I think it might stall. That's a huge pulse bomb there. Triple kill there after Vic, which is just pretty ridiculous. I think it might stall kind of around this area here. Like, as the payload moves a little bit further forward and gets past the sort of bulldozer bot on the left, I think we might get a lot of payload stalled out there, because it kind of comes back to the sort of 2CP issue where the spawn is so close, you can literally just spawn and start firing ultimately from the spawn and start putting a lot of pressure on the enemy. You can see the red team are starting to lose a couple of people just because they're getting hit from the spawn, but also they're doing quite a bit of work as well back to the blue team. So it's not like a total disaster, but I think there are going to be a lot of games. It almost feels like Route 66 in this kind of way, or King's Row, where right at the very end there is a massive advantage for the defenders, and if you can't snowball and get that really strong push going through and wiping them out, you're probably going to get stalled out on this point quite a lot, which is going to be quite irritating, because like, you could argue that right now the red team should have finished this map, yet we've got like a Lucio dancing on a point, we've got like a Diva messing about, and there's a lot of stalling going on, and it's kind of like, it doesn't feel great when there's stalling like this happening in Overwatch, at least in my opinion. Anyway, guys, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost, and this has been a look at professional players playing the new Junkertown map, and I think we can probably look at this and maybe learn some bits and pieces. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. You can join the Discord, which is discord.gg/UnitLost, and I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.